Hello, my friends. Thank you for joining me on this episode of 404 Logic Not Found, where we break down epic fails, stupid moves, hot takes, and generally illogical happenings in the world of cryptocurrency and have a great time along the way. That being said, it would certainly be illogical not to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell notification button because who doesn't like to have a great time and talk about crypto? So thank you for that in advance. Finally, if you have suggestions for future episodes of 404 Logic Not Found, like a story that you want to share, please do comment that story below for a chance to get shouted out as a contributor on the episode. Now with that, let's hash it out, shall we? Well, first, I would like to share with you the absolute worst, most illogical crypto investing strategy that you can possibly employ. One that will almost certainly render bad result after bad result, but just enough success to keep you coming back for more and keep you making this mistake. I'll share this with you so that you're aware of this pitfall and you can avoid it yourself on your own crypto journey. And wait for it, the worst possible crypto investing strategy is none other than investing based on crypto influencers' outlandish price predictions. Now, it might sound just as illogical for me, a cryptocurrency-focused YouTube creator, to be making this assertion, but there's a reason why you don't see me making sensationalist price predictions. I have no bloody clue what the market's gonna do in the next 5 minutes, let alone the next day, week, month, or year. My price predictions and those of literally every other person on social media are about as good as TV news is about presenting facts. In other words, not very accurate. All too often, I see people trading cryptocurrencies based on a video that declares a certain price is imminent, be that 100k Bitcoin or 10k Ether, whatever that is. And maybe that person watches the video to get a grip of why that price is the target. Maybe they watch it, but very often all it takes is a title or a tweet to get someone to move on a trade. And see, that's the trouble with social media, because the incentive for the creator is to hook you emotionally to the content that they make. So there's an incentive to be extra sensationalist and over the top to grab people's attention. However, the sad truth is that people are losing real money, and lots of money to be exact, because they're taking these price predictions, these headlines, as gospel. Now, I say this knowing that the person making the trade holds the ultimate responsibility for making that trade. And I don't intend for 1 second to imply that this is all on the influencer, the content creator at all. But the moral of the story is this. If you see a big name influencer or venture capitalist making some outrageous, fantastic price prediction on the interwebs, think about what they get in return for that and why they'd make that prediction. First, they're likely invested and they want that price prediction to be true. Confirmation bias is a powerful thing. Second, they want you to click on that darn video or click on that tweet, hit that like button, and you watch every single second of it so that you can get your own confirmation bias fix. When you take these two things into account, you realize that you should absolutely, under no circumstances, be making an investment decision that only you serve to pay the consequences for based on that video or tweet or piece of content. That is a 404 Logic Not Found of epic proportions, and it will get you into serious trouble. Instead, you should be searching for balanced, data-driven content that presents both sides of the equation, makes a prediction or conclusion that is clearly illustrated to be theoretical in nature. Then, armed with that knowledge of the various perspectives and data indicators on the market, you can conduct any follow-up research that you need to decide whether you want to make a trade or you just want to sit this one out. FOMO is a big problem, and it's really as simple as that. Under no circumstances should you, or anyone else for that matter, take a price prediction from an influencer and apply that to your cryptocurrency investing strategy. Only bad things can come of that. Now, next up, I would like to draw attention to the sad state of Bitcoin and crypto protocol maximalism. And for those of you who are unfamiliar with this label, a maximalist is basically anyone who holds extreme, powerful conviction about the value and prowess of their favorite blockchain or protocol, and in turn, refutes or discredits the value of any other blockchain or protocol that exists. Though the loudest and most obnoxious of the bunch are, without a doubt, the Bitcoin and Ethereum maximalist crew, there are literally thousands of equally myopic and confirmation bias hungry folks associated with every single cryptocurrency project in existence. Tribalism is everywhere. But here's where things get tricky. Because of the prevalence of infighting and virtue signaling, across the crypto community, the factionalization of what was once a unified, close-knit community has really caused problems. In the face of regulatory scrutiny and the desire to bring decentralized technologies into the mainstream, it's paramount that the crypto community work together rather than fight with one another. We're trying to build largely the same things. Now, one topical example of this maximalism in action is evident in recent commentary from former Twitter CEO Jack Dorsey, whose other company, Block, is heavily involved in efforts to build products around Bitcoin specifically. When referencing the entire world of Web3, or the shift towards decentralized technologies in the people's hands, Jack Dorsey had this to say in a recent tweet. Now I quote, "You don't own Web3. The venture capitalists and their limited partnerships do. It will never escape their incentives. It's ultimately a centralized entity with a different label. Know what you're getting into." Now, at face value, I agree with one assertion that Dorsey makes here, which is that there are plenty of examples of projects that promise decentralization, but have no concrete plans to get there and are structured in a way that mimics a traditional company that we're used to today, albeit centralized. However, this is where the logic ends. Bitcoin, which Dorsey is very clearly trying to evangelize with this statement in an indirect way, is a part of the Web3 shift or the Web3 narrative in the first place. So to cast a generalized attack on Web3, this entire family of technology, is rather silly to me. Furthermore, decentralization is a gradient, not an absolute or a binary measure. 100% decentralization is something that not even Bitcoin can claim because it's not feasibly possible to measure or achieve. You cannot remove the unbalanced distribution of incentives in any system, not in full. Those who own the largest sums of Bitcoin will subsequently stop at nothing to ensure its long-term success, right? I would implore Jack Dorsey to look inwards at Block, his own company whose success is increasingly predicated on Bitcoin's adoption, the success of Bitcoin, and Block's own hand in that success. Is there not an incentive for Dorsey to point people to Bitcoin and Bitcoin alone? I would argue that the answer is yes. Secondly, there are probably great examples of decentralized and non-cartelized blockchain protocols and decentralized applications. Are there not? I mean, I would argue that there are. Bitcoin cannot and will not, and was never built to support every single use case for blockchain technology, and other protocols will inevitably coexist with Bitcoin long into the future to fulfill those myriad of use cases. There's nothing wrong with that whatsoever. The danger of maximalism is that it hides the implicit biases behind sanctimonious and sycophantic rhetoric, and it divides the community with broad generalizations like the idea that all Web3 companies are centralized garbage. Now, I respect what Jack Dorsey is building with Bitcoin in mind. I agree that Bitcoin will remain one of the stores of value for the entire crypto space, if not the store of value. Heck, I even respect that Jack Dorsey seems to only believe in Bitcoin personally. However, when maximalism is used as a weapon, really, to excoriate any competing notion, invention, or idea, is when it crosses into the territory of a 404 logic not found for me. Now, I would like to take a moment to shout out the sponsor of today's show, which is Realms of Ethernity, a new blockchain gaming project that is seeking to take inspiration from one of the world's biggest games of all time, World of Warcraft, and bring that style to the world of GameFi and play to earn. Realms of Ethernity is building a massively multiplayer online role-playing game, or MMORPG, set squarely in the fantasy genre, much like the aforementioned World of Warcraft. The game itself will feature in-game mechanics that make MMORPGs so engaging, like player versus player battles, quests, huge open worlds to explore, dynamic attributes and notoriety systems for players to level up their avatar and affect their experience in the game, and a pretty rich clan-based system for you to play with your friends. Now, as you would expect, the game is built upon decentralized economic foundations, with NFTs serving as ownable in-game items and fungible tokens as a medium of exchange in the in-game economy and NFT marketplace. For me, as a tech-focused guy, the thing that interested me the most when I first read through their documentation was the concept of the Multi-Class NFT Standard, or MCFT, which I can only assume borrows from the original ERC 1203 token standard proposed by the same name in the past. This multi-class NFT standard is being implemented as part of the Ethernity engine, which will leverage ZK rollups and this multi-class standard to allow users to effectively bundle their in-game assets into one single portable container or wallet. You can think of this MCFT standard as a hybrid between fungible and non-fungible tokens, where you can encapsulate many different assets into one holding structure. In this case, that would be a character or an avatar. In other words, you have an avatar whose inventory holds many different fungible and non-fungible assets. Think of this like your bag in an MMORPG game. This will be key to scaling the massive in-game transaction volume that will inevitably happen. And the aforementioned fungible token will first feature the RETH token, which will be used for governance and the internal economy for creating content in the game and monetization of gameplay. Now, we're in the early days of this game and its development, and it's going to take time to come to fruition, as with all of these bigger open world games, but I am a fan of the MMORPG game style, and I'm looking forward to seeing gameplay and demos for Realms of Ethernity. So you can find out more information about the game, the tokens, the upcoming token sale, and a bunch more on their website, which is linked in the description and the pinned comment. But as always, I remind you that this show is not about buying tokens, and it's not a call to action to buy tokens of any kind. Remember that all cryptocurrency and NFTs pose significant risks, including but not limited to simply a failure to deliver on a product idea. So please be careful, know the risks, know about any local regulations that you must abide by before putting a single penny into any digital asset. Thank you for that, and thank you for watching this episode of 404 Logic Not Found. If you have some time to stick around, please check out this past episode of Crypto Over Coffee, which is my weekly crypto and tech news show. It's full of relevant insights and information that helps you navigate the often muddy waters of cryptocurrency. I hope you and your family have a great rest of your week, and I will catch you on the next one. Cheers.